up, Diode? What you doing, little claimer? What are you claiming?
It's on!
What's on?
Dad is on it! Yes, Dad is on it! Dad is on it! Dad is very on it!
I'm done. I have no idea what this is. Looks like coffee, but it's not. It's some kind of tea.
Dad, what's the going, Chase?
The claim is that I'm drinking some kind of weird coffee tea thing.
But why?
Because why not? I'm kind of tired.
Okay, why?
And even if it's not helping me at all, it's helping me mentally.
But why?
I don't know. Why is that thing so close to my face?
That's so funny!
Alright guys, on today's episode, I wanted to give you a little bit of tips and tricks on wetsuit care. This is something I've kind of had to figure out on my own. Nobody really told me or taught me. In fact, I probably watched a YouTube video or two on how to do this. But yeah, living in a place where I surf mostly in cold water, I need a full hooded wetsuit with booties and gloves. So I'm going to show you how to take care of those right now. So in the summertime, ideally I have a big sort of plastic bucket that I basically soak all my wetsuit gear in. After every surf, I put it in some cold fresh water straight out of the hose outside. And I let that soak for a little bit, then I basically just dip it and hang it up to dry. Pretty straightforward. In the wintertime though, I've had to figure out another system because freezing temperatures overnight and cold water on the wetsuit make the wetsuit freeze and it will just basically never dry. So the system I've come up with is I just so happen to have one of these and I highly recommend them. They're only like $15 on Amazon. But one of these shower heads, I want to say they're like 15, 12 bucks even on Amazon, but they're really nice because they filter out a lot of toxins in the water, or just, you know, they basically purify the water, this thing. And then also, it's got two settings. It's got the shower setting, and it has the kind of spray setting, where it just all comes out of the middle there. And that's really nice for hosing down my wetsuit. You're not supposed to use hot water when you rinse a wetsuit, because it erodes the neoprene. My wetsuit's not made out of neoprene. It's Ulex because it's a Patagonia wetsuit. But nevertheless, I use warm water, not hot, kind of lukewarm water. And I pretty much do it in the shower. Like I'll come back from the river and just change out in the shower with warm water. And then I basically, like I said, spray it down. Now that spray system works great because you can literally just psh and spray out your booties, spray out your gloves, and then, like I said, I'll just take a shower with all my wetsuit gear after. And then I happened to get lucky and had this hanger, basically a metal hanger, so it won't bend in the middle like a plastic hanger, but any hanger will do as long as it can hold a lot of weight. Essentially, it's going to be holding your wetsuit, so you're going to need a pretty strong hanger, or maybe even tape a bunch of them together if you don't want to go buy a hanger just for this. But you basically never want to hang up your wetsuit from the neck. It's going to stretch out that material around the neck and it's going to ruin your wetsuit. So this is basically how you want to hang your wetsuit. You want to run the legs through the hanger and let it hang like this. Once I change out of my wetsuit in the shower, I spray it down and turn it inside out, spray it down again. Depending on how warm it is, I recommend leaving it inside out, hanging up just like this until it's dry. Then I'll basically take it out and flip it where it's still inside out, but the other part is exposed, because what happens is the water will still sit right in that crease there. So you want to get the other side of the wetsuit dry as well. Once you get the other side dry, flip it inside out like I have it right now, or I guess right side out, whatever you want to call it, and dry it like that. And then same thing, flip it again. You never want to keep your wetsuit in a place where it'll get direct sunlight. The direct sunlight is bad for the neoprene as well. You want to dry it, you want to air dry it essentially. So somewhere warm where it doesn't get direct sunlight. So you can still hang it outside, but maybe in a spot where the sun doesn't directly hit it. If you're in a tropical area, just keep it out of the sun and keep it outside, you'll be fine. For me, like I said, I can't keep it outside for at least half the year. So right now I'm basically starting to hang it outside again. So a little trick I have for you guys for hanging it inside, especially in an apartment type situation, if you don't have outside space. And I do this every time I rinse it in the shower. I hang it up right here on the stem of the shower head, and I let it dry there for a while until it's like not dripping wet, and then I'll bring it out into the living room and let it dry there. As far as my booties go and gloves, I basically just take them, throw them into the sink after rinsing them out, of course. A lot of times I'll drip dry them in the sink or somewhere that will catch the water, and then if I really want to heat them up fast, I'll put them on the heater vent or next to the fire if I have a fire going. That's pretty much it. That's all I can think of, at least off the top of my head. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment in the comment section below, and I'll answer them super fast and give you guys some more tricks and tips if you need them. Alright guys, what is up? Time to sign off the vlog today. Once again, I didn't really do too much today. A little bit still recovering from inventory the other night, and just in general, kind of just cleaning up the house, getting ready for Dietra to leave on her vacation. And yeah, the plan is to surf tomorrow, so we're gonna get some clips in for you tomorrow. John ended up hitting the river with Cookie, our new Japanese friend, and Cookie's kind of ripping it, dude. He kind of just showed up at the river a couple weeks ago with a wetsuit, like a 3mm wetsuit. It looked brand new in the bag too. It was really funny because he doesn't speak a word of English. He just showed up, and he was like just signaling us like he wanted to borrow one of our boards to try it out. And ever since then, he's been emailing back and forth with John. I guess they're just using Google Translate or something. But they've been able to communicate through email, and then they just kind of coordinate, and they've been meeting up and surfing the river with us. So it's been super fun to have a new surfer, and one especially that is actually able to stand up and start surfing with us like really quickly. Like, he's only gone out with us a couple times and he's already like fully catching the wave. So super stoked to have a new buddy surfing with us. He's doing great. I mean, it took me almost 3 months, I think 2.5 or 3 months to stand up on that wave. I'm sure those of you have been paying attention from the beginning on this channel, you would have seen how bad I was at surfing a year ago. It's kind of crazy how much better I am just from a year of surfing the river. Which, that kind of brings me to a question I got on Instagram. I put out a story today asking you guys if you had any questions for me for the vlog. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram and you want to ask me a question, go ahead and follow me. My Instagram name is @ChaseDavidEvansVlogs. I'll put it right down here in the video. Anyways, I got a question from Austin Sexton. First of all, what's up, Austin? Thanks for following me recently. Looks like you go to UNR, so if you're local and you want to hang out and you want to surf, let me know. Hit me up, and let's go hit the river or something. Anyways, he asks, when and where did you start surfing? So that's what kind of reminded me of this question here. I was talking about my river surfing history. My surf history in and of itself is pretty complicated. I grew up in San Diego, California, specifically Carlsbad. I went to Carlsbad High School, and so I grew up in that surf culture, and I really just grew up in the ocean. I mean, me and my sister were out boogie boarding when we were like 2 years old. And so, yeah, we boogie boarded from a very young age, and pretty much boogie boarded all the way into my teens. Tried body surfing a couple times. I don't think I really understood how it worked until later. I kind of would just like lean on my stomach into waves and just fall head first into the sand. But yeah, so I grew up boogie boarding with friends and with my sister, my little sister, and that was kind of it. You know, I was more into music as a kid, so I didn't really, like, I loved the ocean, and I grew up in it. Like I said, I was more focused on music at that age. I do remember at one point I was about probably 13 years old. My mom bought me a surfboard. I want to say it was about a 5'7", just standard surfboard, super thin, pencil thin. It was blue, I remember, and it had a track pad already on it. And she bought me a surfboard because I wanted to learn how to surf, like a lot of my friends knew. And at the time, I kind of skateboarded casually with friends, and I was really bad at that. So I really wanted to get into surfing, and I just couldn't figure it out, and I gave up pretty quickly. I kind of just tried to stand up a couple times, and didn't happen. I just remember bringing it back into the beach and grabbing my boogie board and going back out, because my favorite thing when I was younger and even at that age was boogie boarding. And what I would do is I would drop in on the wave and get right up on my knees and then do 360s down the line, and that was my jam. Fast forward after high school, I had a lot of family problems. My mom had died, and I kind of escaped by going to Portland. I went to art school in Portland, Oregon, so kind of left all that beach stuff and warm weather stuff behind. I moved away, never really looked back. I used to go to the ocean in Oregon, and I was like, this isn't the beach. What is this? It's freezing. So anyways, the summer, fast forward again to the summer of 2012. At this time, I was living in Nevada City with my then fiance and now wife, Deetra. We kind of broke up for a minute, and I went back to San Diego and pretty much hung out every day with my friend Tanner. And I was pretty into music at the time. I had just finished an album all recorded on cassette, and so I was like right in the middle of like wanting to tour for that album. Kind of the aesthetic of the music was that it was very lo-fi and very beach sounding. Like it just sounded like somebody playing it on the beach. So going with that aesthetic, and I was also writing a novel at the time and one of the characters in the novel was a surfer, and I didn't really know any surfing terms or anything about surfing. And so anyways, me and my friend Tanner borrowed some boards for pretty much a couple months straight. We just surfed a lot and played a lot of music, played some shows down in San Diego. And so that's really when the surfing bug kind of bit me. At that time, I was pretty much just standing on a board, like a 7-foot to 8-foot longboard, and just riding it like straight into the beach every time. Didn't really understand yet the concept of like going down the line or even any cutbacks or any kind of real surfing. I began working for Mike Hall of Black Fern Surfboards in Portland. I pretty much became his glasser and ding repair guy. So he basically would shape the board and I would help glass it and do the finished product sanding. And then I remember one day somebody came by the shop and was asking for used boards, if he had any used boards that he would sell. And Mike was like, no, I don't really do used boards. This isn't really like a surf shop. I just shape them, custom ordered. And then the guy left. And then when the guy left, Mike was telling me, he's like, I really should sell some of these. He always had a couple of boards just lying around that he never used. And he was like, I really should just sell some of these. And I don't know, we got to talking and kind of came to an agreement on one of his boards. And it was this board right here. This beauty. It's a quad fin box fish. I want to say it's 6 and 2 inches, 6 feet and 2 inches. I think I figured it was about 22-ish wide and nice and thick. It's about 2 3/4 thick at least. Maybe it might be 2 7/8 or something like that. It's pretty thick, which really this was the perfect first board for me. This is the first board that I ever owned, besides the one that I said that my mom got me when I was a kid. So this was, yeah, basically my first board ever, and I was stoked. I got this board probably in 2014 in Portland, and yeah, so I really, long story short, my surfing really began in Oregon, mostly at Short Sands Beach, south of Cannon Beach in Oregon. That's pretty much where I learned to surf. Surfed a couple other spots in Oregon, and I pretty much went every other weekend. Austin, I'm sorry for the very, very long rant on the simple question of when and where did I begin surfing, but yeah, grew up in San Diego, but I didn't really start surfing until I moved to Oregon. And then when I moved here, I kind of thought I would have to put it all away. I moved here with just this board. Now I have like 4 or 5 boards. And I never thought when I moved to Nevada that I'd be surfing twice a week. So it does delight me to say that Nevada has made me a better surfer. Like I was not a good surfer when I started this channel, and I still am not. I would say that I'm like bottom level intermediate right now. But like I said, I just keep getting better and better with the experience on the river and Tahoe. And when I do go to the ocean now, it's well worth it. I'm not just paddling out. I'm actually catching waves and holding my own. So super stoked on that. Thank you guys for listening to the really, really long rant. I hope I answered that question okay. And yeah, hit me up on Instagram, guys. I think I might post every day asking for questions. So if you guys go and follow me at Chase David Evans Vlogs on Instagram, I'm going to post every day a story asking for questions, and I think this would be cool to do all month. If you guys just keep asking questions, it can be about anything, doesn't have to be about surfing. And yeah, I'm stoked, guys. So yeah, hope you guys all had a good day. Sun's setting right now, so I'm going to enjoy that with the kids, and we'll see you tomorrow.